Alright, well, seeming to me, and I'm no legal expert, but the more I'm looking into this, and I think I've gone as far as I can, it is not illegal to cut hedges in an urban area on domestic property between any period of time, March to August or not. Now I know we've all got our own opinions about what should and shouldn't be the case, and you know that's all well and good, but I was always under the impression that there is a restriction on it, and this is even if you know that there are birds nesting. I didn't know that. I always thought if there's a bird's nest in there, you are not allowed to cut. It is illegal to cut. Apparently not the case. So the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981, that's the one that's replaced the Protection of Birds Act 1954. They're largely the same, but yeah, one has replaced the other. And the point is, it was just covering all sorts of protections for birds initially with the Protection of Birds Act, but then the Wildlife and Countryside Act is pretty much the same, but it's included a lot more to do with like habitats and the countryside and things like that. So yeah, so what's it saying? The letter of the law, it's an offence, it's illegal to kill, injure or take a wild bird, period, more or less. And it's pretty much the same with the nest as well. You are not allowed to damage. Okay, so that's the nuance word there. You're not allowed to damage, destroy, take a nest, and similar again with the eggs. You're not allowed to do that with the eggs. So there's nothing in the law that says you're not allowed to cut hedges. Now there is a little caveat to this, in that I think we get confused with the use of the word disturb versus destroy. So like destroy and damage, that's pretty black and white. It is what it is. You've either destroyed it, you damaged it, or you haven't. The term disturb a nest, I think that many of us might be quick to jump to when we want to prevent somebody from cutting a hedge. Oh, you're going to disturb that nest. But the word disturb doesn't apply to wild birds. The majority of the wild birds that are in our gardens, really, there's a special, what do you say, there's a special group of birds which are covered under Schedule 1 of protected birds, vulnerable birds. I can't say them out loud, for one, because I couldn't possibly know the list. I'll put it up on the screen. It's quite a long, extensive list actually, where you are not even allowed to disturb the nest. That's knowingly or recklessly. You're not allowed to disturb the nest. It's all sorts of. Maybe it's more down south. I mean, I'm up north. We're used to things like pigeons and blackbirds and wrens and dunnocks and all that. So there is a special schedule of birds that you are not allowed to disturb at any time of the year. But for the most part, when we're looking out in our gardens, when we're looking at the calendar, we're deciding, oh, I've got to wait another week before I can cut the hedges. That's really nice from a consideration point of view, and that's great, good on you if you know, if you're thinking about the birds and the nesting and all that, that is what we should be doing. But I'm just thinking, if you're a person who is just held back from doing that merely because you have a different understanding of the law, if you thought it was illegal to cut the hedges when there's a bird's nest in there, I'd just say it's worth looking into. Okay, so it's the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981 or 1980. I think it's 1981, and it's section 1 right up at the top. There's loads to it, but you know what you need to know is right at the top, telling you black and white what it is an offence to do, and really look at the wording. Okay, if you can cut your hedge in such a way that it doesn't destroy the nest or damage it in any way or bring any harm to the birds or the eggs or anything like that, it's not illegal. Again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm just telling you what I've just been reading and like looking into online myself. And so, of course, look into this yourself, definitely. So anyway, with all that in mind, I think it'd be only prudent for me to now just go into a little bit to the, what would you say, things we can do to mitigate and potentially prevent the disturbance of the nests, if you are concerned about it. So, okay, so all that said, let's have a look at some things that we can do just to get ahead of this and make sure that we're doing everything we can to be respectful to the bird species that may be nesting in the hedges, especially if we suspect that there are some there. Let's have a look at some of the more common hedges we've got in our gardens and some of the more common bird species, and then we'll marry the two up and we'll just see what measures we can take to make sure that we're doing absolutely everything we can to be respectful to the birds of the UK.